as a brand, then how can I build a new feature in my app where your first payment is basically cash and the balance or digital, right? Suddenly you are able to build a differential in your application, right? Because the technologist does not think culture, code, behavior and things like that, and that's really the opportunity for us to really take advantage of. And even use of fonts. Say some fonts give me a feeling that you're sophisticated, some fonts give me. So can you throw some light around how it's decoded? And that'll be interesting, because not enough attention is given to fonts, to colors, I would say to typefaces. These are some of the things, to sound, for example, right? So can you talk to us about what uh, you know uh, uh, hues that it creates in the human mind, and how can brands take advantage?
Yes, sure. So this I think links to visual semiotics.
Mm.
Actually, yeah, as in it could also be sounds. In fact, I think the theorist who we look at is Jacobson. His
Okay.
name is like J. His name starts with a J, but it's
Okay.
not Jacobson. So he actually came up with this concept that any kind of a stimulus can be dismantled into the bare into those units,
Hmm.
like font. Again, font is one big thing. Within
Mm.
that font you have serif and sans serif fonts, right? So
Mm.
like a serif font is which has those lines at the edges,
Mm.
protruding lines at the edges. Sans serif is without that.
Mm.
It's a very subtle thing, but
Mm.
actually serif fonts tend to be more formal.
Mm.
Sans serif is more casual, and
Mm. Okay.
serif is more classical,
Mm.
right? And then if you use capitals,
Mm.
uppercase versus lowercase also. The uppercase is more authoritative and more
Mm.
formal. Lowercase is more approachable and friendly.
Mm.
If it's just the as a brand, if you're creating a logo,
Mm.
so if you see the Tata logo,
Mm.
all are all capitals,
Mm.
TATA Tata. Imagine if you just imagine all small letters in the
Mm.
Tata logo.
Nice.
As in it's a podcast, so I'm not able to show it to you. Like, but if you just imagine it in your mind, you'll suddenly feel that it's like a junior Tata or something. Then it's
Correct. 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 Correct.
doesn't
No,
fit,
it's lovely.
right?
Lovely. I think so. Therefore, imagine a set of semioticians working in a technology company, decoding culture, bringing it back into the applications, because a lot of innovation happens there, but not enough consumer insighting goes into these companies. And I think there's a lot of opportunities from semiotics, is what I can pick up from this conversation. And not just the CPG companies and the marketing companies, but probably a whole host of other opportunities is something that we could look at, right? So
Yeah.
that's really what I think. And especially we can build a new semiotics line of thinking given our culture, right? That's really what I think, that
Because
I believe.
Indian culture offers so a lot of fodder to do semiotics, and because it's very complex as well. Like I've seen a paper where they actually looked at intra-cultural diversity
Mm.
across different countries. And if you see, for example, US, within the US, the diversity is very less.
Mm.
But if you see within India,
Mm.
the diversity is very high, and you
Correct.
can't even things like language. Like
Mm.
in the West, generally there's one language spoken in the entire country, but
Correct.
here every state has its own regional language. So
Correct.
the diversity is also so high, and the complexity is so high, that I think it's important to for brands who are working in India to and have that pulse, especially on the diversity. In fact, there was one project I had worked on for a big FMCG company where we decoded the difference between North India and South India as a
Very
country.
nice.
So it was
Mm.
a very interesting exercise. Like me personally, like I'm actually a North Indian, but I've always lived in South.
Mm.
Like I'm married into a South Indian family, so that kind of more like a personal exploration also it was for me. So it was a very interesting exercise because that brand basically is headquartered in Delhi.
Mm.
Their ad agency is in Delhi, and they have been making ads which do very well in North, but they fail miserably in the South.
Mm.
They were not able to understand why. So
Mm.
we actually decoded South Indian movies. We
Hmm.
decoded the ads of other categories that have done well in the South. For
Hmm.
example, the brew ad which you talked about was a part of the analysis. The whole
Okay.
gender dynamics are very different in North
Hmm.
versus South within India also.
True.
So it was a very interesting exercise. So something like that, right? Diverse even at a regional level, like if you're looking,
Correct.
I don't know, like a Maharashtra level and culture versus a Bengal level.
No, no, absolutely, absolutely.